we are delighted to have Helena and Cheyenne to talk to you. You might think they work in similar environments, but actually there's a little bit more to it. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a general little opening blurb, and then I'm going to let them speak for a few minutes. So imagine it's blind date, okay? Now, there's lots of ladies in the audience, so I'm sure you'll know. I'm sure you've been on blind dates, okay? So, you might think one of our speakers' career path or job appeals to you more than another speaker. You might think that, but look underneath the surface, the same you do on a blind date. Sometimes you'll find other things within that career. So for example, if we're talking about building or banking, there's also marketing, there's photography, there's lots of other little facets to it. Okay, so bear that in mind. We're going to let them briefly introduce themselves. Then we're going to separate you into 3 groups. Each group has a chance to speak to their person for 20 minutes. Music will sound, and then you move on to a different group. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so it'll be controlled chaos, we're hoping. Okay, right, so first of all, I'm incredibly pleased to welcome Helena, who's come from Lewisham-ish? Southwark, okay. Helena has 2 big facets to her career. She is, let me get this right, Senior Creative Talent
Very close.
Okay.
Senior Talent and Development Manager.
For Malali. Malali are a huge construction company who are doing most of the building. Who are doing most of the building work you'll see around Lewisham. Okay. How do I pronounce your name?
Human.
Okay. Right. So that's Helena. Helena also has had a long career as a teacher. She has taught everybody, everywhere. She has taught in prisons. She has taught young children. If any of you are at all interested in a career in teaching or tutoring or anything like that, she will also be able to tell you about that. Okay? Cheyenne is a young entrepreneur. He's developed his own company from scratch. I saw it when it first started, and it's grown and blossomed, and he does amazing building and renovations that just look beautiful. I know, because he did my bathroom. Okay? And Human works for Checkout. Checkout is a company you won't have heard of, but you will have heard of all the other companies they work with. So they work with PayPal, eBay, all those kind of companies. They basically process your payments. Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah. So that's more digital, etc. But we'll find out a little bit about each as we go along. Okay. I'm going to be very unchivalrous, and I'm going to ask Cheyenne to start, and I'm going to keep a very close watch on the time, okay? Just like blind date. If they start waffling, if they start telling you stuff you don't need to know, I'm going to move them on, okay? Because I am Cilla Black, just for one night only, okay? Next week, I will resume being normal Abby. Thank God, okay? Right.
So what are we talking about? Just the company and
talk about your company, how it got started, and how you might want to move into that company and what.
Right. Okay. So I'm Cheyenne, by the way. So yeah, I'm the owner of Asher Design and Build. That's been going on for about 5-6 years. So we do mainly private residential homes. So we do the design, the renovation, the construction work, as well as the design. So I think we started off, how did I start? I mean, I always knew that's what I wanted to do when I started off. I always knew I wanted to combine design and construction together. So you have companies, obviously you've got design companies, they do their side, and then construction companies will come and do theirs. And it's always like I'm sure you know, there's always that mismatch, isn't there, between the Passover of the works. So we had this vision to combine that together. I mean, there's companies obviously that do that already, but we wanted to do that as well, and to make that transit process as smooth as possible. So I think at the moment the company is, I think we have 15 full-time people, and I think about 10 other kind of part-timers. But it's at the stage where it's grown quite a lot now. So so we realize we're in the need for so many other things that you wouldn't have thought of at the beginning. So you would have, at a construction company, sure, they need plumbers, electricians, and builders, but you also need marketing. You need clienteling, designers. So that's where we are really, I guess. We're expanding, and I think we're looking for people that could join our team.
Okay. And one other thing, just to let you know, so Sharon's work and his company, it's beautifully designed things. They look gorgeous. He's very particular about the finish and the style of something. Hence him working a lot in West London, where generally richer people that live in South London tend to live.
They tend to be the more difficult, actually.
Actually, more
so,
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So, also part of your job, I'm imagining, is a little bit of diplomacy and finessing between client and...
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, any business owner knows you're kind of babysitting the clients and the team. But I guess the clients, there's so many sides to that. There's meeting their expectations, trying to get an idea of exactly what they want, their budget, their ideas, and then kind of bringing that into reality, not overpromising, and then there's also things that you have to deliver without them kind of saying. So there's certain things they expect you, especially the more richer, well-off clients. They just expect those things, so they won't tell you. But it's just, I guess that comes with experience as well.
Can you give us an example? Like, is it everything done yesterday in marble?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. So for example, it'll be something like you'll ask them for the decisions. Let's say 2 months before you start, and you're like, we need these decisions by this date, and they'll take forever to decide. And then the day they make that decision, they're like, they want it done now, there and then, kind of thing. And but it's important to just communicate that all the time, non-stop, to the client, and to say, look, when you make this decision, we need 2 weeks to get this in. And
so project
it's
management,
constant communication.
And project management, I imagine, is a bit of a thing
100%,
as well. Yeah,
100%. That's the major part of it, actually. The hard part is the project management. Is actually doing the work is straightforward.
Okay. It's managing the people and the material.
It's managing the people, managing the clients, and then making sure everyone's on the same track.
Okay. And I'm going to ask this of everybody. Can you tell me one thing you're particularly proud of that you've done?
Oof. You should have prepared me earlier for this. I guess I'm proud of. There's a lot of things you learn along the way. So a lot of people will think, I'm not going to start a business because I don't have this skill or this thing or that. But there's a few skills that I've picked up along the way that's enabled me, I guess, to be where I am now. So I'd say that's the thing that I'm proud of. So there's certain skills that I've picked up that I'm not naturally, the best at, or I wasn't. But you force yourself to become that.
Okay. I have a confession to note. So at this point, I've known Cheyenne since he was 10 years old. Okay, so I've seen his business grow. And I would say one of the skills you've had to pick up is people management, because you have a huge, very multicultural
100%.
crew who all have slightly different expectations, I imagine, around time and what's a good job and what's not a good job.
100%.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well, yeah.
Yeah.
The guys that work for you, everyone's got a different temperament, especially builders. They've got, everyone's got like a different threshold and different amount of things you can say to someone, or different expectations you can have. But that just comes with time and patience. And understanding. Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Eleanor. So, thank you very much. Sorry. So, as I mentioned, there are two big strings to Helena's bow. There's this huge experience of teaching, and then there's her new experience of being in this large Lewisham company. So, do you want to talk about the building and the Mullally first, and then move back to teaching? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so hi, I am Helena. I'm here from Mullally. Has anybody seen Mullally signs, projects? Big blue sign, very blue with a big yellow M
There's
in
a
the
few
middle
around
of it.
Lewisham Station,
You'll
aren't there?
see
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
You'll see them.
Yeah.
So I've been with Mullally now for 2.5 weeks. And prior to that, I was working with Equans. Has anybody heard of Equans? No, they're big as well, but they kind of fly under the radar a little bit. Oh, this is my presentation. Can you tell I used to be a teacher? So Mullally's is it's a large tier 1 construction company, and what that means is that we get the jobs, and we don't have tradespeople who we employ directly. All our work is subcontracted out, and we do all kinds of projects. We do new builds, so building houses and places from scratch, and we also do regeneration. So we do an awful lot of work with councils, and we are one of the companies that will come in and change all the windows and doors in a big block of flats, or replace all the cladding, and generally annoy people because we're in their homes, but it can't be helped. So that's what, and we also have a planned maintenance division as well. So we do lots of different kinds of work. We are over 500 people in the business. That is not including any of the subcontractors like the plumbers and the electricians and tradespeople.
And I was very curious when I was looking through your website. One of the things that you mentioned that you're very much sort of proud of was not just the skills of the work you do, but the skills of your team and how much you look after your teams and everything as well. Is that right?
Yeah, so we are very people focused, because we know and understand as a business, it's not like 50 years ago when the manager would say, do that, and you'd have to do it. People management skills are very much important. I'm still learning that so many of our staff have been in the company for 20 years, 30 years, 35 years, and I am just shocked. This is one of those rare companies where people, they love it there because of all the values and the culture within the company. So we very much do our best to look after our people, and the fact that we don't lose many people shows that.
And once you're in the company, are there sort of opportunities to move up the career ladder and change from, I don't know, being receptionist one day to something else?
Yes, so we have, we're growing and developing all the time. And so we have a graduate trainee program where 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds who've just done their A-levels can apply, and we will put them through an apprenticeship to get a degree, to get the qualification as a quantity surveyor or a site manager. We are constantly training our staff, so NVQs are really important to us, especially with building regulations and you know all this, don't you? Building Safety Act and everything coming in. Health and safety and qualifications are so important. So there is movement, there's development, and because we are a family-owned company and the family still work in the company, they're in their 70s, but
Right.
they're still there.
So is it old Irish navvies then? I'm imagining with a name like Mullally, it's sort of old Irishmen who started the company.
It was the O'Malley family.
Right,
The
okay,
O'Malley
yeah.
family
Yeah.
who changed it to Mullally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're still there.
Okay.
And so that, you know, that they're very keen on their you know, spotting talent, nurturing that, and helping people become the best version of themselves.
Okay, brilliant stuff. What I'm going to do, well, first of all, a round of applause. Okay. We're going to come back to Helena after we've heard from you, man, just to hear a little bit about teaching as well. So you'll get 4 careers for the price of 3. Yep. Okay, so Ewan, can you tell us a little bit about checkout? Because as a person who's not very technologically advanced and somebody who's slightly suspicious of PayPal, your company sounds amazing and they seem to have lots of opportunities and work with lots of big companies. But tell us how it works.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Horniman, and checkout.com, I just joined them 2 months ago. And prior to that, I was in the payment industry for about like 6 years. So what Checkout does, I don't know if any one of you might have seen the marketing campaign around shortage recently, or in Old Street. We have like a massive painting on the wall in shortage. We have also the caps painted blue recently, showing our brand color. So checkout.com, we do provide payment service to e-commerce platforms. So the likes of eBay, Netflix, Spotify, ASOS, for instance, just signed a contract with us recently and went live. So let's say if you go to buy a product on eBay and then, in the process of putting your credit card information and all these and then checking out. So the whole process is managed by, acquiring company like Checkout. And so we power the whole payment process just to make sure that it's smooth for you to do the checkout and make sure that you're not going to abandon your basket and then just go. So our clients are all corporate clients where they have a consumer-facing link or website. And so that's part of the biggest part of the business. And where I came in at Checkout is more on the issuing side, where we not only help our customers to receive money, but we also help them pay their suppliers as well. So using a virtual credit card solution. So booking.com, for instance, you're very familiar. Let's say if you go to booking.com website to book a hotel, to book an airline, and booking.com will use one of their issuers and then generate a virtual credit card to pay to the hotel. So that's how the whole payment ecosystem works. And checkout.com, it's quite young. It's a fast-growing fintech company. So they're about 12 years in the market. And roughly, I think right now its value is about 11 billion.
Okay. And you have quite a few jobs available at the moment. It's like
we do have a lot of jobs. So this last year in 2024, we grow 40% year on year. And this year we are like every single month. So we have 2 onboardings every month. Every 2 weeks, basically there is one. And on average, last month, for example, we have roughly like 30, 40 people a month. And then the month before, again, roughly the same number. And literally just last week, we actually had the internship program as well that we welcomed around 14 interns in the company. And in London office, we're based in Old Street, and we have about like 1,000 employees. So there are, for example, I know that one role that I'm very aware of is on the solution engineering side. So if any of you had the background of engineering, technology, IT, this kind of profile where you manage customers, for instance, then it will be a type of job that you can apply for. But then there are really so many other roles like marketing, even people team. We have a whole team of people who are literally looking after the employee benefits in the office. And we have free breakfast, we have free lunch. Okay. We have pretty much everything.
You get to be in East London, you get to be in the hipster capital, the coolest place in London, with free breakfast. What could be bad about that, Okay, yeah. Lovely stuff. And could you just tell us one thing, how did you get into the job? What was your background? Was it sort of IT, or was it accounting, or?
Me, myself, I study engineering, bachelor degree, and I also study marketing in master in London and in France as well. And I entered my previous company 6 years ago, the first time, and I never been in payment. I never been in, never been in payment industry previously. So I think it's just the idea of it depends on what kind of role that you're looking for, right? It's not necessarily that you had to have a payment experience. But, you know, if you are, for example, marketing specialist, then, you know, it's just looking at your background on marketing. And for my role, I'm on the sales role, but in my previous job, I started operation, managing customers, and then I entered the commercial, and then now, you know, pure sales. And in my previous job, one of the biggest customers that I manage is the one that I just mentioned, Booking.com. Used to be my
So
one of the portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think, it's just, you know, if you demonstrate that, you know, you have the passion in this industry, you have fast learning and checkout, I think it's really giving a lot of opportunities for people who are willing to learn, and it's moving very fast.
Okay.
It's a young fintech company, so
Brilliant. I'm going to have to cut you off there, just be mindful. Thank you very much. Okay, so very quickly, because I'm conscious of time, we're going to go back to Helena and hear a little bit about teaching. For those of you who want to get into teaching, I know amongst Ukrainian contingent we have a lot of people who are formerly teachers or lecturers, so maybe you could segue into a different career over here.
So I was a teacher for 22 years. I taught English initially, and then ended up going back to uni and started teaching psychology as well. And when I finished my teaching career, I'd spent the last 5 years teaching psychology at A level only. I've taught in a prison, I've taught all over the place, private schools, state schools, all kinds of things. And I realised when my youngest was approaching 18 years of age, I thought, this is it now, I'm going to go and do something else that I'd like to do. My biggest concern was my transferable skills, because I knew that I had those transferable skills, but how do you reflect that quickly in a CV or a covering letter or an application? So I worked really hard on making sure that my CV and application form and covering letter were clear, brief, and those transferable skills really stuck out.
I'm doubly delighted she's talked about transferable skills, because we all know we wrote a book about transferable skills and soft skills and how important they are in the UK. So, yeah.
And even with that, I ended up applying for 30 jobs, and I only heard back from 2. And one was the police, working to create training content and things like that for the police. And the other one was for Equans, managing their trainees and apprentices and graduates, kind of like a pastoral role, more like head of year more than anything else. I took the job at Equans. They offered it to me, and I couldn't have been happier. It opened up so many doors. I was really nervous. I was like a 12-year-old starting school all over again, because I'd never been in industry before. And so very quickly, though, I was very honest with people. Said, I don't speak industry. I don't speak construction. So say that again and say it slower. Tell me one more time. And I picked it up really quickly, and there are still so many things I don't know, but I don't have to be an expert in the construction industry. I just have to be good at what I do. And so I've loved it. I have not looked back, but I do miss parts of teaching. I miss the children.
Okay, but not marking the homework.
Oh, not marking.
Homework.
Boo.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. So, just to sum up. So, if you want to be in the apex of cool in West London, if you want free breakfasts, this is the lady you need to talk to. And if you have IT tech skills, again, this is the lady you...
First you have to learn programming, right?
Yeah. Not see? Okay. If you want to be more South London based, stick south, what you know, round here. If you want to work in a big company with lots of different opportunities, interesting training programs, internships, this is the lady you want to talk to. If, however, you want to move to swanky West London, you want to create beautiful high-end things for possibly slightly fussy clients, but you'll make something beautiful at the end of the day, this is the man you want to talk to. Okay, so think about who you'd like to talk to first. I'm going to give our participants a big round of applause first of all, and thanking them for being brave. Okay, we will have 1 or 2 minutes to get your chairs into 3 groups. We'll let them relax for 2 minutes, have a glass of water, and then we'll move you to speak to each group, okay? Yeah, that's it. Right. Thank you very much. Okay, right, so on your feet, move your, shift your chairs, yeah. Okay, shush, I'm going to be teacher now. Okay, you have 20 minutes to talk to your professional, okay? When you hear the music, you have to move, okay? So, not the speaker, the participants, you guys move, okay? So people who are here with Human, you move over here, okay? You move that place, challenge group moves over here, okay? So 20 minutes, talk. No, that would be much too easy. We like to make a challenge, okay? So you have 20 minutes. Talk to your speakers. Be kind. Remember, you're in a big group, okay? So don't let one person ask all the questions. Try and make sure that everybody has a chance to ask any questions, get any information. Maybe a few of you want to give your CVs or details to our professionals, okay? But you only have 20 minutes, and you are starting now. Okay.
I want to join. Oh, okay. So I'm interested position project management, but I know it's a specific role here, and I don't have any experience in the UK. So in Ukraine, I had my own business, and I hired builders, I hired subcontractors, I work with clients, I manage all these processes in cottage construction site. It's like small houses, yeah. It's not a capital construction. So, but I'm interested in this role, and now I'm looking for opportunities to study and work, maybe apprenticeship or maybe assistant project manager, some kind of this.
Have you looked on any job websites or any vacancy pages on company websites?
I start search, first of all, I start search some courses and education opportunity, because I want to understand how the main principles, how it works here. Of course, I'm confused and scared to apply for this kind of position, because I'm not experienced in this role. I work here in the UK, but I work as assistant architect. So
okay.
Yes.
Okay, but that
it's a little bit different. But I have higher education, master's degree, civil engineering in Ukraine, but the diploma was management and on organization constructor site.
You're so qualified. You're so qualified. You should start applying. And with your cover letter that you write, you have those qualifications. Yet they weren't gained over here. They were gained back in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
But you have the experience as well. You're clearly a very fast learner, and you're very determined. And a hiring manager they should, if they're good at their job, they should see the potential and talent in you. So you don't lose anything whilst you're studying and whilst you're working to start applying. You don't lose anything, do you?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You lose nothing.
Yeah.
Because it could take a while to get in and to get a response. And you might apply for 50 jobs and none of them will take you, but you just need one job.
You know what's worried me?
Tell me.
It's, for example, the interview will be successful, yeah, and I need to start to work, and I will be like confused what to do here because here some regulations which is different depending on Ukraine, some way. With communication between the builders, hierarchies, etc. So maybe some documents which is different. So all of these things is.
There will be, of course, there are differences, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would suggest you go and get some work experience. There are any construction company, you can write to them, you can ask them if they're doing work placements, work experience. So you've got even a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks experience working on site, understanding a little bit more. There are documents that you could be looking at. There are free learning. I was looking at free e-learning courses this evening before we started talking tonight, and they have there are courses that you can do that are free that talk about project management in construction. So think websites like Udemy, read.co.uk is a huge employment website. They have free courses on there as well. So start to gain all that information and knowledge, but if you look at things like assistant project managers, assistant document controllers, things like that, to get into the business and then start working your way up to where you want to go.
Okay. So
Do you have any entry position in your company? What about your company?
We have, if you look on the, sorry, I have the link
saw
up
the
there.
site.
Did you take a photo of it?
I found the site.
will
And
show you.
site manager, assistant site
Assistant
manager.
site manager. We've got BIM. We've got digital construction designer as well. So there are roles there.
So, but BIM, for example, BIM, it's you work with Revit. You work with a program which called Revit.
Oh, yes. I don't know anything about that. That's not my
But
expertise.
you need to have previous experience to work in this.
Yeah. What I'm saying is there are roles that have different entry requirements. Some you'll have, some you won't have. But a good place to start, and what people should be looking at, is let's say you go and ask for a week's work experience with a construction.
It's possible
business.
to join your company for placement just to get like free and get some experience just to study.
Yeah, but if not us, because we're quite full at the moment with work experience, but there are other companies as well. So you can look at Waits, you can look at United Living, you can look at BAM, you can look at Equans. There are loads of tier 1 construction companies who are working all across London.
So, if I right understand, the best way is to search their sites and send them a mail with question. It's possible to get for free payment. Work.
I'm looking for some free work experience for 2 weeks. I want to get into the construction industry in the UK. I have all these years of experience back in the Ukraine, but I need that experience here. And I'm looking to get into project management. Can you please help me out?
Oh, thank you. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah. I never think about this.
But you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
But because then you start showing like you have that want, you're willing. Yeah.
Yes.
And look for the free courses as well.
Yeah, and next week I will.
Yeah, you've got enough. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
First questions. Do I need to complete my Ukrainian master's degree here or Ukrainian and out, or I need to relearn here?
Okay. From what I've understood is, do you need to complete your masters from the Ukraine? You don't have the facility to finish it distance or online, do you?
No, I finished it in Ukraine, but
Oh, you did.
if you accept Ukrainian degrees.
So, right. What's your degree in? What's your master's in?
Meteorology.
Meteorology.
Meteorology, yeah.
Wow. And what's your undergrad?
I worked in Ukraine about 5 years in energy sector, and I want to work here.
Okay, so you might be interested in looking at sustainability within construction. So for the last few years, and it's a really huge thing now in construction, is sustainability, energy efficiency, new technology to stop using natural resources, so heat pumps, solar panels, these kind of things. Is that of interest to you? So the fact that you have that experience,
Ukrainian degree is enough, yeah?
you don't necessarily need that specific degree from the UK. The fact that you have that degree, you have the background and your experience as well. Even if you start at a lower level and work your way up, because there will be other qualifications that you will need to get whilst you're working in the role to then start moving up.
Second question here. What kind of documents do I need to work in the energy sector, like CSCS, NVQ?
Yes, so MVQs are if you have no... do you know about MVQs?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that they literally, at a certain point, you're learning stuff, and then after a certain point, you're just evidencing your existing knowledge. Yeah. At some point you will need a CSCS card, but let's say you start off as a retrofit coordinator, for example, a retrofit coordinator. So retrofit is another way of talking about roles within sustainability within construction. So this is what you need to look for: sustainability jobs in construction, retrofit jobs in construction. These are the two things you should be looking for, okay? You're not going to be manager from day one. So you're going to have to go in at a lower level, okay? There will be other qualifications you're going to need to do as you're working in that role that are specific to the regulations and expectations in the UK.
So I need only CSS,
CSCS. You don't know because you won't be
to
working.
start this enough.
You don't need it essentially to begin with, no. Anything else? Have I helped you? I haven't helped you. That's a shame. Look for sustainability or retrofit roles in construction, if that's what you want to go into. Anybody else? Yes.
Do you have any jobs in finance in your sector?
There are, it's all about money in construction. So yes, our finance departments, there are finance departments in every construction company. Do you have qualifications in finance?
I have a degree in accounting from Ukraine, but I didn't work as an accountant, but in finance I worked for treasury service in Ukraine.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's related to finance as well, and I would like to start maybe from some low position, for example, bookkeeping, or maybe assistant accountant, something like this.
There will be expectations. Again, apply for those roles. You don't lose anything. You just have to. You don't lose
I'm constantly
anything.
applying. But
Yeah. What are you applying for? Which roles are you applying for?
assistant accountant, bookkeeper.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Have you asked for feedback?
No.
Ask for feedback. Because you don't know, if they reject you, you don't know why. So ask for feedback and they have to give you feedback. But I would also talk to a recruitment agency and explain. They will have a much better understanding of the nuances within finance, take between your qualification from the Ukraine and your experience and what is needed in the construction industry or the UK finance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would find a good recruitment agency that deal with finance. I would call them up. I would ask to speak to them and say, this is my CV, these are my qualifications. What do I need specifically and what roles should I be applying for? What level? Yeah. Okay, because there's something there, there's a mismatch somewhere, so find out what that is and then you can put that right. Okay.
So can I just interrupt for a second? So I put my teacher's hat on very briefly. I would like each of you to tell one skill that you have that you might bring to a company if you were lucky enough to work for a company. Right? So it might be you're good at talking to people. It might be you make the best cup of tea in Britain. It might be you have great IT skills or you have good people skills. Just give me one skill that you can bring to some company if you work there.
Meticulous attention to detail.
Love that. I wish I had that. So if you are already working for 10 years and then suddenly want to apply for a internship, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so usually they are best on the law. You can study a master degree, bachelor degree.
No, you can start the course after graduate. I'm going to double check.
Or I need to even actually work out
For a year. But if you want advice on which one to go for, I can talk later. What do you do? Do you do any construction work as well? Do you have experience? What do you have experience?
Where you can spend 5 minutes and then gone, I don't know the answer, I'm wasting time, let me ask somebody who does know now, and so you've saved yourself 25 minutes. And I think that's a really important thing to realise as well. So yeah, so well done. Who's next? Very good. Yeah, attention to details and that kind of thinking is so important. So thank you. Very good. Okay. So you have experience of that, do you? Amazing. Thank you.
Google Suite, which includes Gmail, your Google Organizer, Google Slides, Google Meet, Google construction.
Okay, so you've got experience.
You've great project management.
Yes, I long time worked as project manager in a very big project. It's oil station here is petrol station.
Yeah.
And big house. High manager
Okay. Honestly, I think where you're coming from, and I'll come to you in a second. I think where everybody's coming from is you have all this knowledge, this experience, and what you really need. And it was the same for me. It's not the same context, but going from teaching to industry. You know, people think, well, you're a teacher. What do you know about industry? You know, well, you've just done.
Questions?
Yeah, I already I have already visited a page in LinkedIn of your company, and I have noticed only 4 positions. Not so much.
For right now,
Yeah, it's 4 positions, and
maybe for this location, I don't know, but or maybe just for this particular moment.
all right. Yeah, and so we have a good position for software engineers, and even for people who write code in Python. This is what I do, what I did. Yeah, so but I don't have like a degree in computer science. I just have experience working in startup projects. So, what kind of team members would you like to see? What is the most values in your team, and type of way have you produce some or deliver some product?
So just to clarify, it's not myself hiring. I'm not hiring anyone, but yeah, within the company, like the team that I work very closely with, and this role is the role that I'm aware is called the technical account manager. So and this particular role is not requiring writing programming or Python or any of that. It's too okay. It's too loud, right?
Yes.
And so what you require is you understand how system works and technically how programming works, but you don't need to write the program yourself. And then the other part of this role is actually client facing, where you need to deal with the customers, because it's when they have any questions about the payment process or stuff like that, then they will reach out to you, and then you're gonna help them fix the problem.
Yeah, it's kind of support, right?
Yeah, but it's not a picking up the phone call. When you call Ocado, and then they are the one at the back end helping you fix the problem. This is the support for a corporate client, not a consumer client. So let's say they might gonna tell you, I have my customer trying to, I don't know, pay the system, and then now they keep on declining or keep on not going through, and then
Transaction is not done.
yeah, and then how can we fix it, or how can we do, to
Do you have some kind of bug reports from that company, or
do you have what?
bug reports where it's described the issue, or it's on the phone?
It's mostly by email. There's no, nowadays we use less phone. They might have, I think, but mostly it's supported with email. And then of course we will have another group of people based in Mauritius who are more the ones taking even more customer service kind of questions from the customers. So it's a little bit different, those roles, but if you want more, information, I can share the details with you later.
We can do this. We can do this maybe later, because I'm not the only one here. So, thank you.
Do anyone have questions?
So, is there any opportunities for people like with no experiences before, or do they have? Do they need to have a qualification to apply for a job? Or
It all depends on the role itself and the seniority of the role. So let's say if you are applying for, I don't know, I always take marketing as an example. If you applying for a marketing role, for example, and then if that position is a junior role, then they might not need you to have much experience. But if the role itself is a more senior role, and then they require you 5 years of experience while you don't have, then you are not qualified for that role. So they do have different level of positions that people can apply. But like you said, probably right now they might not have a lot of positions opening, or maybe a few days later they will suddenly pop up a role. But it's constantly, like I said, every single month they are hiring. If not 30, 40, minimum 10, 20 per month in the company, it's quite common. Yeah.
Any other questions? Do you have a talent pool in your company? So
Do I have what?
talent pool.
Talent pool?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
When you just collect CV for people, and in future you can.
I think they do accept that, I remember. And so, for example, right now, if you're interested in the company in general, but then they don't have positions available for you, then there is an email that you can send your CV to. And if they find your profile is good, and then they just keep your, CV. And when there is a suitable profile, then the opening, they will contact you. And but like I said, if you have a good CV and you are interested in the company, I'm happy to share your CV with HR as well. And I guess there's, like I mentioned to the other group, it's always good to know someone in a company where you want to apply for. And even not check out any other companies. Utilize your LinkedIn, utilize any of your network. If you know anyone working in that specific company, instead of directly applying for the role, it's always worth speaking to that person first before you apply, to see if that person knows more information, and then also even can pass your CV, which then increase your chance of the application. Because if you just apply, click the button on LinkedIn, for example, there's hundreds of people or thousands of people applying for the same job, and if your CV doesn't stand out, then there's less chance. So yeah, if you know anyone in any company that you wanted to apply for, just make sure you speak with that person before you apply.
If you don't mind, can you share with us your personal story, how you applied for this job? Position?
I mean, for this role, because I had experience in my previous company, and this one I was headhunted by a headhunter. And then in my previous company, I was also headhunted by a headhunter, and even I've never in the same payment industry, and that's why I was saying, like, if you have the relevant experience but not in the industry, you still have a chance. And like Helena said, some skills are just transferable. So you don't have the knowledge of payment, it's fine. They can train you, because this is just a hard skill that you can learn. And a lot of people don't have payment background before they enter a payment company. And so it depends on the type of role, it depends on your personality, and there is always. Prior to my previous company, I was working in a concierge company, managing customers in relationship, and it's because in that company, their customer success and CRM was really good, and that's why I was headhunted by a headhunter, and then asking me if I want to join this company with this particular role. And so I didn't have any payment background as well previously. And after entering the company, I was doing well still with, so my main focus at the beginning was more, operation and all these. But as said, transferable skill is very important. And then the hard skill of the business, how business work, you can always learn within the company. And then now, because I have my background on the payment, then it helps me with this new role where I was headhunted again, and then at the right time. Yeah.
Is there any specific rules like the company are requiring now at the moment? Specific rules?
I mean, I haven't checked, and I think he just mentioned maybe what you just see is. Did you see 4 roles just on LinkedIn or in the company website?
LinkedIn and startup jobs from this company, so it was a senior.
Did you check on the company website as well?
No, only LinkedIn.
Okay, so some of the positions might not be on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
And so if you are interested in company, of course look at LinkedIn, but then also go to the company's website, the career page, to try to, because you can filter by location, you can filter by the type of positions, and then you can see probably there are more than what you see on LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
First, we can share our CV to your LinkedIn or how?
So yeah, happy for you to connect me on LinkedIn, and then also send me a message, just tell me that, we meet in this occasion. And then if you want to share with me your CV, and like I said, or Abby said, I'm happy to help you with the CV as well, or share your CV with our HR, and try to find the right person to share your CV to. And then, and if you decided you want to apply for a specific position, then I can help you with that as well. But of course, I have no guarantee that you're going to get the job. 49? 49, yeah? For London, already 49. 49 positions in London.
It's on the website, yeah? Oh, that's better. That's better.
So you see, there's just too many that I can't tell you which one is available. But
Can we get your contact details
yes, I think. If you don't get my name now or don't get my LinkedIn, just feel free to reach out to Abby and then get my phone number as a contact. And happy to share.
Can I ask you maybe a question, strange question? How usually a job interview is going? I understand that it's...
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How usually job interview is going? So probably I understand it depends of the role, but probably some tips from...
I think, I can't say for all the companies, but nowadays a lot of companies are looking for, whether you are a cultural fit as well. So at checkout, let's say you're going to have an interview with the HR, and then if the HR likes you and then think your profile is good, then you're going to have an interview with the hiring manager, which is the boss of that role. And then if that hiring manager is happy with you, then you're going to progress to maybe another round of interview with the manager of the manager. So that's usually 3 rounds, but again, depends on the roles. It could be more rounds than that. And then, like I said, apart from your skills, a lot of companies are looking for the cultural fit. And what it means is by checkout, for example, they have something called the operating principles, where how do you fit into the culture of checkout? You need to understand, do your do you feel like you are bringing the value to the company? Do you feel like you want to learn? Because this is a very fast-paced company. Do you think checkout is actually bringing you what you want to get as well? So nowadays, interview is not like whether the company likes you or not, but you need to demonstrate whether you think the company is for you as well. And somehow you need to show to the company you're able to, throughout your interview process, it's not just you are thinking, hire me, but you need to show to them that actually, I think your company is a good company. Why? And why you think you fit in. By doing a lot of research yourself, you know what the company does. Even you don't understand the product, you will understand, by the time you join and then you learn, but you need to know what the company does, who their competitors are, how they do in the market, and what's their future plan. All these, of course, you can search by the company, search by LinkedIn, search by all the news around, and all of this information, they know that, okay, you understand why you are here, not just because you want a job, because you think this company is right for you. What are you expecting yourself to grow in the company? So the process will be like that, and all of these, of course, it's hard to fake it throughout the interview process. If you don't like the company, or you think that I'm not sure, but just give me a job first, and then maybe 3 months later I'm gonna leave. They will feel it if you have that kind of feeling. So yeah, I think at checkout it's always with the with at least 3 rounds of interview to go through, and I don't know, of course, whether there is a specific writing assessment or any other type of assessment, I don't know, because again, I guess depends on the role. Maybe if there's a very technical role, they might ask you to write a programming as a part of a test, I don't know. But yeah, so. Yeah, like MATLAB, C++, Python, all these.
It's written C#, Python, Java, JavaScript. Yeah, so like the main
XML. I know the names, but I don't write programming nowadays. I'm very bad at programming, even I study it.
You said about internship, which is the best time for applying?
Yes, so internship, it's already, they already started, but they accept the application very early stage. And just to clarify that, I think someone asked previously, who are the people applying for the internship? I believe, I hope I'm not wrong, but I think the people who are applying for the internship mostly are either the graduates or the students who are about to graduate. And if you already work for 10 years and then you suddenly want to change role completely, and then you say, can I join the internship? I'm not sure they are considering this kind of profile. It's more for the young people who wants to grow, who wants to develop new skills, and then or understand, how the payment industry works. So I guess they will be more looking for those kind of profiles. But again, like this year, for example, they did say that they have thousands of applications, and they only have like 14 enrolled last week. So it's a very competitive environment, and those ones who apply for it, I believe are again either a graduates or currently studying master or bachelor degree, and then they are graduating this year. So the internship is probably part of their study program, something like that. But they do have and so the internship is just a couple of months, but then they also have a graduate program as well, where then it's 1 or 2 years, probably 1 year graduate program. And again, it's just, I don't know the graduate program timing, but the internship, they accept the application beginning of the year, and then they close down in March or April, and then start now. So it's really like much in advance. And the graduate program, I think if you want to apply, I think for this year it's also closed, because the graduate program should start in September, something like that. So it's only probably next year the graduate program will launch in next year. So if you want to apply, for example, it might be the beginning of next year to apply, and then they make a decision in a couple of months, and then you wait for, because usually graduate program is really done for the graduates, right? So they finish their study in July, and then they start in September.
How to be headhunted? How can be headhunted?
How can be headhunted?
What do you do?
Make sure your LinkedIn profile is good. I think in Europe and UK, LinkedIn is really very commonly used. And make sure to connect with as many people as you can. Like try to speak with as many people as you can through LinkedIn as well. So if you find any, industry, engage yourself in some conversations, that helps as well. Like for example, let's say if you're very interested in generally payment, then try to follow, or I don't know, travel industry, then try to follow every single company that does the same thing. Follow them, and then, or even follow the individuals, the CEO, the COO or whatever, follow them on LinkedIn. So whenever they have a post on LinkedIn, you know what's going on. Particularly in the companies that you're interested in applying, follow those companies on LinkedIn. Follow their competitors on your LinkedIn, so you know what is going on in the market. You know what they are doing in those companies. Sometimes they might post, we've awarded this yada yada award. Either like it yourself or put a comment. Nobody cares, but you put yourself into the environment where you are more exposed to the whole, network. So the more you have activities on LinkedIn, the more exposure you have, and the easier you're gonna be seen by someone. So if you want to be headhunted, it's not just about your background, how good you are. If you have zero connection on LinkedIn, you're not going to be spotted right away, right? So if you don't have a lot of network right now, start building. Don't mind that, but I don't know anyone on LinkedIn, I don't know who I can connect to. Just start with the basic to follow the companies you wanted to work for, to follow the industry you are interested in, follow their news, follow all of these, and then be proactive on LinkedIn, because it's really one of the platforms nowadays. A lot of like companies they will go to, either check out as a company or a headhunter. They will always go to LinkedIn and reach out to people with. Since I joined LinkedIn, I already been headhunted for another 4 or 5 times already, and it's just about the exposure. And then if you get a new job, that's why again, if you get a job, you might be even more easily to be, exposed to the market where they know, you just joined this company for this role, you must be good. And I have this role that I'm available, I'm gonna ask you whether you're interested in or not. So again, make yourself visible on LinkedIn, and I think it will help a lot. And comment, or even yourself post something. Facebook is more for personal use, but somehow, LinkedIn, try to transform it to, even if your personal experience, but make it professional. Like, today, for example, if you get a certificate today, post it on LinkedIn.
Questions of what we do. Do you want me to remind you what we do? You might have forgot, yeah? You remember? Construction, design and construction, yeah. So in West London. But we don't stick only to West London. We do sometimes I did Abby's house a while ago, so.
We London the one of us.
Well,
there are actually 2.
Well, yeah, exactly. Don't forget me. No, I know. The last group I spoke to, there was a lot of questions about what else can we do, what other jobs you provide. So, as your company grows, there's so many different roles, like project management, the IT side, marketing side. So it you don't have to be in the construction trade or have a construction skill. Depends on, you can apply those skills to the management side or to marketing. But I mean, what areas are you guys thinking of? Or
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing. So
What is in your company?
Yes.
Like people from digital marketing.
Right. So at the moment, most of the work is through word of mouth and recommendations. But as we grow, we find that we need more social media, more advertising, just because we need bigger volume of work coming in. So there comes the marketing to make sure we're booked out. We have a big amount of clients, and we are competing with those bigger companies that have a bigger name. So 100%. At the moment, we don't have a specific person to do that. We use people out of house, and we subcontract the website or this or social media. Or I have kind of people I know who. A friend of mine, for example, I was paying her part-time to do social media side. But I guess as you grow, you need someone to do specifically the marketing side. So we need website, we need social media, we need constant stream, like showing photos, videos, talking about what we're doing, engagement,
So usually on social media you're creating something like, I don't know, before, after.
Exactly. So we go in, we say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, this is the plan. And then we show the process of, okay, now this is the first stages of day 1, we removed this, we did this, day 2, day 3, and then finish. So, but you need someone to do that specifically. You need someone to go and do the filming. And also, they need to also understand the process. They need to, I guess, understand when to come and do the filming, what stage, you know, but I can advise on that. I can say, okay, go and to do this, I can always help. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do. Yeah. We don't do any buying or selling, so we're just working for clients that either own the property or they want to develop the property. So we go in, we do the design, renovation, and then that's it. We don't worry about buying up. But that's maybe something we do in the long term, because the good thing with that is it's more in your control. So you can do things that you want to do, essentially, and there isn't that stress of dealing with the client, because a lot of it is managing the client, their expectations, making sure that money is coming on time, and they're happy and they're not, or they don't change their mind. Exactly. Yeah. But you have these agreements in place. It's almost like being a lawyer, but a very nice, polite process where you always have to keep communication open and say, okay, so we're doing this, and if you decide to change, it's going to cost this. Kind of, they know if there's a change or if they change their mind, and if it's them changing their mind, not because the job is bad, obviously, So as long as they know that, I mean, yes, they just pay more, and if it costs what it costs, if they're ready to pay, then yeah, we change it. Yeah, not really. We should do. Yeah, we should be doing. Yeah. We need to talk. Yeah. I mean, we just did a really big job, and it was they were so happy. They were like, "Oh, this was amazing!" And I didn't think about it. I was like, "Oh, can you give us a shout out on Instagram?"
You said if you are recorded, so people even there used to be like shows.
Yeah.
When
the client,
and then like the best feedback.
Yeah.
And like if they agree.
Yeah.
If they agree. Shoot it, but I think like.
Yeah, if they agree to come in the film, yeah. If not, they could always tag you in the social media, or they could just say, like this is amazing, blah blah blah. Thank you so much. But we have to chase them for it. Like no one. It's very seldom that some people will come and say, "Oh, can we give you a review?" But you need to also have a system in place that makes it easy for them to do. So we use a review website, but we have to send that review to them. So we can talk about that. We can talk about how to make that more smooth and easier for them to do.
And on Google Maps, do you have that?
Yeah, we need to talk about this stuff. There's a lot of.
I was flushed.
No, it's good because we need. These are all the things that we're trying to do. So we don't have on Google Maps here, but we're on Google, but there's a few things that need to be tweaked then.
But you actually have like the official
No, because we don't use like we don't rent an office, not yet, but that might change very soon. Yeah. There is. You're just gonna have to message me. This is the thing. It's not like a big company where it's like vacancy here and It's mostly. It's very like. Yeah. There is jobs. There is work. Yeah. There's interior design. There's clienteling. There's human resources. There's project management. Or even if you can be a woman and you can do plumbing or electrics. It doesn't mean, if you like it. It's good money.
What is clienteling?
Clienteling is. So Abby asks what clienteling is. So Clienteling is basically you're dealing with the client. You're taking care of the client's needs, requests. They can be.
Anything like that, and you don't have imagination what she wanted.
Oh yeah.
I wanted like that because in her imagination
Yeah.
you must know it.
Yeah, but that's the designer's job. So that's the designer, but then also the designer has to work with the manager who can tell her what's realistic and what's not. So essentially everyone, I mean, the designer and the project management do some clienteling, but you have, usually when you call like a place, you have someone at front of house who pick up the phone who's like, oh, hello, how can we help? And they pass them on to, so they find the lead or someone calls in and they pass that on to the, or they pass it on to me, who then, of course, yeah, and you can see how it goes. Yeah, you can try and you can see how it is, yeah. And then, and also when you try, you kind of, then we understand actually what we need as well. You know, sometimes you have an idea, but some positions in a small company, you've never had those positions. So we have in our heads like, oh, we need this, but when the actual job starts, then you're like, oh no, it needs to be a little bit more like this or like that. So it's best to just try it and see how it goes. But I'll also think about specific things we need. I try and, because a lady before asked me, do you have a specific job role? And that's a very good point. So that's something we need to do. Yeah, no problem. We can make a job role together. Yeah.
I just want to ask a final question.
Yeah.
In terms of the marketing, as you said, you're a small company. Have you got any department where you hire anyone like to do this part of the job, where you don't have the marketing?
We don't have a marketing department. No, we don't. We do marketing, but we kind of it's more ad hoc. It's more like, okay, we need a website. We're going to do a website in the next 2-3 weeks. Call a friend up. Can you do a website? Yes, cool. Do the website. Or it's not like a department that, but we need that. I think we do, because you need someone just to manage that side of the business.
Because it's kind of essential for
100%.
how small businesses operate. Do they have this covered, and in which way? So that was the question, basically. Yeah.
To be honest, the truth is, a small business is usually the owner or one or two people that are like the main people that are running around doing everything. They try to do everything until you get big enough that you can employ a specific person for that department.
So it doesn't stop you anyway, like the lack of this department doesn't stop you from...
It limits us. It does limit us.
Okay,
because
but it doesn't stop.
No, it does, but it slows
Some
your...
businesses, it's like, to get there, you need to get this,
It's like
this done.
it's like a cycle. It's like a what's that saying? Sorry, I can't remember what it's called. What do you call it when you like a vicious circle, a catch-22. When you're like, if you need marketing to get jobs, you need jobs to be able to afford the marketing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So it's but you can, as a small business, you can just build slowly, and then it's like when you have it, it's like a snowball, you know.
So where is a starting point actually, like is there any
It depends on your
this matter?
but it depends on what you have at your hands. Okay, so it depends on how much funds do you have. What's your if you have no funds, you're probably gonna have to start on your own doing stuff.
Like a little bit of funds, I'm ready to invest in something.
Yeah.
What would be the first step?
But if you're suddenly thinking of applying accounting, then I don't think it's relevant at all. And
It's not to me.
Okay, guys. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Can I have you all on your feet, please? And can I get our lovely employers back up on their seats? Okay. Okay. So, hey, can you all hear me? Yeah. Okay. So, my last job as hostess with the mostess is to thank our amazing employers, Cheyenne, Helena, and Human. Big round of applause for them. So I'm sure you all agree they have all been absolutely amazing. I have heard advice and practical information of every sort. I've heard about plumbing, I've heard about cover letters, I've heard about LinkedIn, I've heard all sorts of things, and I've learnt a lot, and I hope you have too. And I've also seen lots of details being passed around. So these people are now hopefully going to be your friends. And apologies for spelling people's names wrong. Helena and I will send out details of the right names and emails to people. And thank you all for being so good in this small sauna, which obviously isn't beautifully designed, as it would be, which I'm sure one of you guys have been involved. And thank you all for coming. I hope you learned something. And we will see you all next week. And just one big round of applause before we buy them all a beer. Oh, and sorry, and for people next week, it's your end of term. It's the last session. So the last session for Facework Ukraine will be on the Thursday. We have a special treat. I can give you hints about the special treat, but I'm not going to tell you about the special treat. There will be a graduation ceremony. There will be a special introduction into things that you might want to do over the summer if you're missing us too much. We have got some more special guests coming who are hugely talented as well. And there'll probably be some nice food. I might even make cake. Who knows? Sorry, very serious. And most importantly, the certificates will be handed out next week. And Facework Future, similarly, you'll have food, you'll have evaluations, you will have certificates, and you'll get to say goodbye to us and get some advice about what you can do over the summer to help your job prospects. But on Wednesday, yes.
Facebook Future Wednesday.
Facebook Future Wednesday.
And Facework Ukraine on Thursday.
Okay, and we've now learned about the value of teamwork because we work much better together than we do separately. So another useful thing that you've learned today. Okay? Yeah. Okay, take care, folks, and safe home, and we'll see you soon then. Bye for now.
Thank you, Abby.